Hello, learners. Greetings. Welcome once again to class. So today we'll be talking about the rights and duties of citizens. In our previous class, we talked about citizenship, and acquisition of citizenship, where we gave the definition of a citizen, who is an official or a legal member of a country, who is entitled to rights, and they are also obliged to carry out some responsibilities for that country, right? Where we also say that citizenship is also the legal status of being a member of a country. And we talked about various ways one can acquire citizenship, from citizenship by birth, citizenship by marriage, by adoption, by naturalization, honorary citizenship, and the likes of that. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the rights and duties of citizens. Okay, first of all, understand that a right is an entitlement or claims that individuals have, either legally or morally, right? And basically, we have two major types of rights. We have the fundamental human rights and we have the citizens' rights. Okay, so the fundamental human rights are universal, inalienable rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of their nationality, location, or other characteristics. Okay, so the fundamental human right, this is a universal right that is inherent to all human beings, regardless of their nationality, that's the country they are from, regardless of their location, regardless of their characteristics, regardless of their gender, regardless of anything whatsoever, right? So this fundamental human right applies to every human being on earth, regardless of whichever country they are from or whichever country they are living in. Okay, so then you can also say that rights are privileges that citizens are entitled to by law, right? That's citizens' rights. A citizen's right, these are the rights. A citizen's rights are the privileges that a particular citizen are entitled to by the law of that country. Okay, so a Nigerian citizen is entitled to some privileges in Nigeria, all right? But for fundamental human rights, we say that they are universal, right? And they are what? Inherent to all human beings, regardless of nationality, location, or other characteristics. Okay, so please remember I said that right or a right is an entitlement or a claim that an individual have, either legally or morally, right? And we said there are basically two types of rights. We have a citizen's rights and we have the fundamental human rights. Okay, where we said that the citizens' rights are the privileges that citizens of a country are entitled to by the law, right? And we said that fundamental human rights are universal, inalienable rights that is inherent to all human beings, regardless of their nationality, location, and other characteristics. So these other characteristics might include gender, it might include race, it might include skin color, it might include a lot of other things, right? So regardless of all these things, every human being on earth is entitled to the fundamental human rights. Okay, let's look at the key aspects of the fundamental human rights. Number one there is universality. They apply to all people. So the fundamental human rights applies to every person, every human being on earth, regardless of age, from the child that was just given birth to just now or just this minute to the oldest person on earth. Every person, every human being on earth is what entitled to the fundamental human rights. So therefore we say that fundamental human rights are universal. Okay, so one of the key aspects of fundamental human rights is universality. It applies to every person on earth. Then we say that is inalienable, right? Another key aspect of fundamental human right is inalienability, which means they cannot be taken away. Okay, you remember when we talked about citizenship, we talked about the withdrawal of citizenship, right? That at a state or if a condition arises that the citizenship of a particular citizen can be withdrawn, right? If the person commits a crime or if the person fails to do some duties and obligations, his or her citizenship can be withdrawn. But for fundamental human rights, they can never be withdrawn. Okay? They can never be taken away, regardless of whatsoever you commit, whether or not the person is a good citizen or not. You understand? So fundamental human rights cannot be taken away. Okay? It's also one of the key aspects is that what is interdependent and indivisible. All human rights, all fundamental human rights are interconnected and important. Okay? We also have equality and non-discrimination. So everyone is equal before the law and entitled to equal protection. So a key aspect of fundamental human right is such that everyone is equal before the law and everyone is what? Entitled to equal protection. Okay? Moving forward, let's look at examples of fundamental human rights. We have rights to life. This means the right to exist and be free from violence. That's one of the fundamental human rights. We have right to liberty and security of person. Now, this means the right to freedom from arbitrary arrest and detention. So every human being on earth cannot be arrested without a reason, okay? And they cannot be detained without a reason, okay? Regardless of the country they are found in, whether in Nigeria, whether in any continent, Europe, Africa, Asia, name them. Wherever they find themselves, they cannot be detained, they cannot be arrested without a legal reason. You understand? Okay. Moving forward, we also have freedom from slavery and torture, right? The right to be free from forced labor and cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment. So no human being on earth should be forced to any cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment. Slave trade, the time or the period of slave trade has passed. So there is nothing that should make anybody be a slave to any person, right? There is nothing that should bring about someone to be forced to do things, right? So forced labor, cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment is not acceptable. Moving forward, we have freedom of expression, the right to express oneself, including through speech, press, and other means. Okay, so another fundamental human right is the freedom of expression. Every person on earth has the right to express themselves. You can express yourself through speech, you can express yourself through press and other means. The social media, you can express yourself, right? You have the right to express yourself, express your views, express what you understand, express your understanding. You understand? So every of these, you have the right to express them. Okay? Moving forward, we also have right to education. Every person on earth has a right to access quality education. Nobody, regardless of the age or the gender or the race, should be denied education. Everybody has equal right to access of quality education. We also have right to work. This means the right to choose one's profession and receive fair wages. So every human being on earth has the right to choose their profession. And also, as you take out or you carry out those professions, you have the right to be paid a fair wage. Right to fair hearing, the right to a fair hearing, a fair and impartial trial. So every human being on earth has a right to a fair and impartial trial. Okay? So regardless of the country you are from, even if maybe, let's take for example, someone is from Nigeria and maybe the person was accused of a crime, right? Let's take for example, Uganda, right? Because the person is not from Uganda, the Ugandan government cannot just prosecute him without passing through legal processes. They will have to take him to court and give him the access, give him the privilege of expressing himself in court, right? The court has to hear his own side of the story. You understand? So regardless of the citizenship or nationality of such a person, every person, every human being on earth has a right to a fair and impartial trial. Okay, so right to privacy. This means the right to be free from unwanted intrusion into one's personal life. Okay, we also have right to equality. This means the right to be treated without discrimination based on characteristics such as race, religion, gender, or origin. So nobody has the right to discriminate you based on your country, your origin, based on your gender, whether male or female, based on your religion, whether Christianity, Muslim, Buddhism, whatever you practice. Nobody has a right to what? To discriminate you. The race you're from, the country you're from, nobody has a right to discriminate you based on any characteristics at all, right? So every human being on earth has right to equality. Okay, let's look at the rights of the Nigerian citizen. So we say that the rights of the Nigerian citizens are privileges that Nigerian citizens are entitled to enjoy in the society by the law, as documented in Chapter 4 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution. They are basic and fundamental to every Nigerian citizen. Okay, so the rights of the Nigerian citizen, just like we said before, they are privileged that what the Nigerian citizens are entitled to enjoy. Those privileges every Nigerian citizen is entitled to enjoy in the society, in Nigeria, right? The Nigerian citizen are entitled to enjoy these privileges only within Nigeria, right? You remember when we said the different types, the two basic types of rights, the fundamental human rights and the citizens' rights. Okay, the fundamental human right applies everywhere in the world, but citizens' rights, this applies specifically to what? To different countries. Okay, so the Nigerian citizens' right only applies to citizens of Nigeria. Okay, so anyone that is a citizen of Nigeria are entitled to what? Enjoy these privileges, whether they are in Nigeria or they are outside Nigeria, as far as they are citizens of Nigeria. Okay, and like I said, this is what enshrined in Chapter 4 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution. So if you go there, you see different rights that the Nigerian Constitution documents that everyone that is a legal member or an official member or a bona fide member of this country, these are the things they should enjoy. All right, so the rights of the Nigerian citizens are privileges that Nigerian citizens are entitled to enjoy in the society by the law. They are documented in Chapter 4 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution, and they are basic and fundamental to every Nigerian citizen. So by being basic and fundamental to every Nigerian citizen, it means that it applies to every Nigerian citizen. It's basic and fundamental to all of them, regardless of whether or not they are in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. As far as they are Nigerian citizens, the Nigerian citizens' right applies to every one of them. Moving forward, we have examples of the rights of Nigerian citizen. We have right to life, right to dignity of the human person, right to vote and be voted for, the right to fair hearing in courts, the right to ownership of properties within Nigeria, the right to personal liberty. Okay, so these, amongst many others, are examples of the rights of the Nigerian citizen. Okay, so in class, I think I will give you more of that. Let's move on to duties of the Nigerian citizen. So, moving forward, the duties of the Nigerian citizens are obligations, their responsibilities, their commitments that Nigerian citizens must fulfill for the country. This is contained in Chapter 2, Section 24 of the Nigerian Constitution. Okay, so it's just like the flip of the coin. The rights are the entitlements you enjoy, those things you enjoy. Then the duties are those things you are obliged to do, those obligations you have to do, those responsibilities you have to do, those commitments you have to do. So on the other side of the coin, you are enjoying this. These things you are enjoying, the things you are enjoying are the rights. Okay? Then the things you are supposed to do for the country, those are the duties. Okay? So every Nigerian citizen has rights to enjoy and duties to perform. Okay, so let's look at examples of that. We have declaration of income and prompt tax payment. So every Nigerian citizen must have to declare their sources of income and also pay their taxes promptly. Okay, we also have respect of other citizens' right and dignity. So every Nigerian citizen must have to respect every citizen's right and dignity. Okay, so declaration of income and prompt tax payment. Of course, you know that the tax is being used for the development of the country. So every Nigerian citizen is entitled to what? Declare their sources of income and also pay their taxes promptly. They are also expected to respect every other citizen's right and dignity. Moving forward, we have abiding by the Constitution and respecting national symbols. So every Nigerian citizen must have to what? Abide by the Nigerian Constitution. The Nigerian Constitution is what? The binding law for every citizen in the country. All right? So every citizen of this country must have to what? Abide by the Constitution, and they also must have to what? Respect national symbols. I've taught you national symbols in class. Those things that gives Nigerian people, or that gives the Nigerian people the sense of pride, the sense of belonging, okay, the sense of unity. Those are Nigerian symbols. So every one of those Nigerian symbols, we must have to respect them, ranging from the national anthem, the pledge, the Nigerian coat of arms, the Nigerian currency, the maize, and the lots of that. We must have to respect them as Nigerian citizens. We also have participating in political processes. Okay, every Nigerian citizen, especially when the person has come of age, must have to what? Participate in political processes. How do you participate? Either you vote or you declare interest and be voted for. Okay, we also have protection of public properties. It is the sole responsibility and duty of every Nigerian citizen to protect public properties. Okay, we also have defense of the state and crime prevention. It is also the responsibility of every Nigerian citizen to defend the state and prevent crime. You have the responsibility to for example, every suspicious move or every suspicion you have, you should have to what? Report them. Okay, defense of the state, always as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution, Nigerian citizens are mandated that if the needs arise, they will have to what? Participate in defending of the country. Examples of that is during the Nigerian Youth Service Corps service, right? Those who engage in the NYC, that's Nigerian Youth Service Corps, those who engage in that. And also, like I said, if the need arises, maybe, though we don't pray for that, but maybe there is a lot of insurgents or a lot of external threat on the country, every Nigerian citizen is mandated to what? To opt in to what? To go and protect the country or defend the country. We also have contributing to the country's what? Development. So every Nigerian citizen must positively contribute to the community where they are. They must positively contribute to the economic, financial, moral development of the country. Then we have consequences of non-performing civic duties. So those who don't perform their civic duties, there are what? Consequences for that. Okay, we have financial loss, we have legal penalties. These legal penalties ranges from jail term to fines and the rest of that. We also have loss of social services, right? Here, some services that the country gives out free for its citizens may be restricted to some persons when they fail to perform their civic duties. We also have withdrawal of citizenship. So a citizen not performing their civic duty might lead to withdrawal of citizenship. We also have damage to reputation. So let's look at the importance of rights and duties of the Nigerian citizen. quickly. First of all, it protects freedom and equality. So the rights of the Nigerian citizen ensures that what the freedom of every Nigerian is protected, and every Nigerian is equal before the law. It also ensures citizens participate in governance, right? By voting or through the political processes, it ensures that what citizens participate in governance. It also promotes peace and development, and it also strengthens national unity. So let's have a recap of the things we talked about. So we talked about rights, where we said there are basically two types of rights, where we have the fundamental human right and the citizen's right. So we said the fundamental human rights are universal, inalienable rights that is inherent to all human beings, regardless of their nationality, location, or characteristics. Okay, and we said the citizens' rights are the privilege that citizens are entitled to by the law. All right, so this is the end of the class, and see you in class. Come with your questions, and you get clarity and explanations, more clarity and explanations in class. All right, thank you, and bye.